Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another episode here on the Sticks and Bones podcast. I know we took a week off. We are back. We are ready to go with an amazing episode today. Hi, Dr. K. How are you?
I'm good. Your girlie just got her nails done, and I'm excited because we are talking about some of our favorite girlies today, Hekate and Persephone. So I'm really excited. What about you? I know we missed everybody last time on the podcast, but we hope you guys missed us and we're back and better than ever. But how are you doing? How are you doing?
Oh, I'm lovely. I'm ready to go. We're filming this episode right before the new moon, and if you know, you know, Hecate is associated with the darkest lunar cycle, which, by the way, a lot of people did not know what I meant when I said that. I didn't know people didn't know that wasn't they didn't know it was the new moon. So the darkest lunar cycle is the new moon, and
Mhm.
we're gearing up for Depnon in 2 days over here in my house. So I went to the bakery today, and
Mhm.
I got something for me and I got something for Hecate. So the
I
girls need a
love
treat.
that. The OG girl dinner right there.
The girls need a treat. So I'm excited. And this is really funny because Dr. K and myself did not ever think we would do another episode on one of
Either
well,
Hekate or Persephone.
I did not think we had another one in us, but apparently we do. Apparently we do. And honest to God, what
Hands
fuels
up.
us here at Sticks and Bones is yes, what we want to talk about and what excites us, but it's also mass misinformation
And spiders.
about Greek mythology, ancient Greek religion, and history. And a lot of the times, and we'll get into it, people do not associate Hecate with Persephone, which is crazy.
Mind
It's
bug?
wild because
What?
that's the only thing we really know.
That is the, the only thing, the only box we can check with Hekate. Hekate is not a lone wolf. If she's a lone run, she's coming for you. She's usually with her, pride and joy, Queen Persephone.
Yeah, so we've just been seeing so much like propaganda and scammy education around Hecate. And we just did like a whole, if you're on our extra members, mystery cult content, which by the way, you should join. Click the link in our description. You can join on YouTube, you could join our Patreon. We just did a whole episode on y'all are being lied to about Hecate and being scammed
That's
because
true.
the information that the internet is peddling is why we did 4 episodes. And now we're on our fifth one.
Fifth one, 87th one. Truly, it never stops. No rest here at Sticks and Bones. And yeah, if you want all of our unhinged thoughts, all of our hot takes, man, that one, we really gave the ancient and modern tea about the lies that have been told about this goddess, this ancient goddess.
Yeah.
And yeah, that one took me for a loop. We were both just ranting and wailing.
I felt like I was in WWE, like I was coming out into the ring, ready to like body slam someone to the ground, like the misinformation. I
Coming
didn't
out with
even
my
realize
chair.
we were going to talk about it again. Oh, by the way, I used to love The Undertaker back in the day when my brother used to be big into wrestling, and I loved The Undertaker. It was my favorite, his music and everything. But I felt like The Undertaker coming up from the underworld, from my duties and my job to be like, you know what? Now we got to bring out another episode. We have to do it again.
Like, really, I'm tired, but here we are because what is going on out here?
I don't
Shit's,
know.
shit's running amok. What's going on? Why are we saying this? Why are we saying out of pocket stuff about ancient Greek religion or, Hecate, for example, as an ancient Greek goddess or ancient Anatolian goddess and making stuff up when this exists, when this entire podcast that we are doing today exists? We have all this information. Why make stuff up when we already have this?
I don't know, and I'm sure a lot of you agree with us. So, before we dive in, we have some exciting announcements because we have a lot of extra members content coming that Dr. K is going to give you the rundown. But in the store today, speaking of Hecate and her role as a guide with Persephone, we have just dropped Propolis, which is part of our Greek goddess archetype boxes. If you
Mhm.
don't know, check out our website. We have all of these amazing archetypes that we're developing based on epithets of the gods and Greek goddesses to help you and you can use to honor and venerate the gods, but also for yourself. So Propolis is based off of Hecate being a guide to Persephone. So this box is all about and should be for those that need guidance, who are lost, and are those that are seeking a new path, possibly. You know, giving like a little tribute to Hecate as
No.
Persephone's guide. And you get a Propolis candle. You will get oils that are either associated with Hekate, Persephone, the goddess, and also Athena. We have products, we intuitively pick them and whatever
Yeah.
you need. We like to do a little mix sometimes. Sometimes you need all Hekate, sometimes you need some Athena for strategy in there. So it comes with a room spray, incense, the candle, the bookmark, and I am missing something.
And a molded candle.
And a molded candle. So I am
And a
very
room. Did you say room
I
spray?
did. The room and altar
I
sprays are my favorite. I used Athena's before I got on the podcast today. I was like, I need clear mind and thinking. Let me spray all this."
Yo, I of course I'm partial to the pomegranate cider of Persephone, but
Amazing.
the goddess,
So good. I spray it on my bed every night.
that one slaps beyond belief.
It does. And they dual as altar sprays, so you can spray these on altar, statues, iconography, etc. So Propolis drops today, limited quantities available on Etsy and are also, of course, our own beautiful website. Check that out. And what do we have, Dr. K, for our extra members content? Because this is probably my favorite month.
It's a crazy month because we are also, revamping the queen archetype and everything. And we had to put our brains back together and figure out, what is a great archetype for Greek goddesses? Of course, that of the queen. And speaking of queen of the gods, we are actually going to be doing a Hera PR episode. Let's hear her out. Was it warranted? Did she have a point with going after the many children of Zeus or going after Zeus himself? Did she have a point? Well,
Yes, case
we are
closed.
sitting down and we are hearing her out as her lawyers and we're taking it to court. Then, of course, we are coming back at you again with imagery of the triple goddess herself, with associations to crossroads. And we are awakening from the underworld yet again for another month of Hekate because what is going on out there? Y'all have been lied to with her imagery out there. So we're
And
finally setting
people
the
are
record
making
straight.
people are making money off of this, of wrong imagery. You're bringing these beautiful statues into your home and putting them on altars, and they're not anything. It's Fekate. We called her Focaccia on the extra members content from last month. We were like, this is not Hekate, this is Fekate. Scammed. Being
Sakata.
scammed out of money, being scammed out of information, and it's wrong. And honestly, sorry I interrupted you, but I was living my life in peace. Y'all haven't awakened me and Dr. K from the underworld to now have to come back out of our slumber.
Truly.
Do you see my face? I'm just like, I can't believe I have to do this again. I'm like a grumpy old lady. Like,
God damn it, not again.
what are the kids doing now? Like,
And speaking of what the kids are doing, because misinformation is just amok here, we are opening up the crypt and we are tackling this book by our buddy, Dr. Ogden.
mhm. Put some respect on this man's name, number one.
First off, how dare you? Second off, we have seen this book being used for baneful magic. And when I tell you, my jaw was on the floor when I saw that. So, what are y'all saying? Because none of it's true. So, now we have to get our textbooks out in May, and we are going to be going over this incredible source, giving our opinions on it and letting you guys know, is this book Sticks and Bones approved for information on necromancy, not baneful magic?
For those of you that are listening to the podcast, it's Daniel Ogden's Greek and Roman necromancy book. I don't think you gave the title, but it is a book that is recommended often when people are talking about study of the chthonic, especially. And listen, I love Daniel Ogden as much as the next person. So I'm always going to say, if you want to learn about necromancy, this is the book. But we're going to dive into it. Why do we like it? What are some things about it maybe we don't like? What is
Spoiler
this
alert.
used for? Why do we have it personally? And how do we
I'll
feel
give,
about Daniel Ogden? You know what I mean?
I'll give an insight right now. I'll give a little spoiler for a thought. You can add yours if you want to as well. This is not for learning about underworld gods. Like, I hate to be
It's
the bearer.
not.
No.
I know, and it's so heartbreaking, but it's for the protocols of necromancy. Why were people doing necromancy?
Get your checkbooks out. Like,
And Daniel Ogden is a doctor, so his books are very dense. Like I have his source book, I have this book. Listen, if you're not immersed in this all day long, and we should just save this for like the extra members content, it's hard sometimes to digest information. This is why we create Sticks and Bones. This is why we're reviewing it on our extra members content. So we have a lot of fun things coming out this month.
yeah, put some respect on Mr. Dr.
We
Daniel
should
Ogden.
be hyping Dr. Daniel Ogden up more so than anybody else in this world because he's given us some bangers when it comes to
Not only
books.
Greco-Roman necromancy, werewolves of ancient
Yeah,
Greece. Like, you
he's
guys are
awesome.
sleeping on Dr. Ogden. Like, come
I believe he has a YouTube channel.
I know he's interviewed quite a bit.
Yeah.
I would love to meet him and
You
just
guys should find him and let him know Sticks and Bones sent you. And he probably doesn't know who we are, but we love him and his work. And I love hyping up people that actually deserve it. So it's like this man dedicates his life to this, you could tell. But anyway, we're gonna be, I'm like a fangirling. I'm like, oh my God, it's Daniel Ogden. So that's our extra members content for this month. You have summoned us from the underworld and we're back. We're back. But today we're here with our fifth Hekate episode, I believe. And we are talking about Hekate Propolis, which is, you're laughing.
I was trying to do the math. I was like, what number are we on? I don't know.
We're
I
probably
think
gonna be
5. I think you're right.
we're gonna be 80 and podcasting here at Sticks and Bones and still be doing Hekate episodes.
Welcome back. This is Hekate 954.
We're still gonna be here. So anyway, we are talking about Hekate in terms of her relationship with Persephone. And why is this, you might ask? Well, when we look at Hekate, like we've been saying, there's not much we know about her, especially in Greek mythology. A lot of people like to say, oh, Hekate's big figure. She's not at all. She's not part of the 12 Olympians. One of the source books we talked about last month didn't even have Hekate listed as one of the
Oh my
gods.
God, that's right.
And I was like, we pointed it out to be like, case in point, I love Hekate. I worship Hekate. Why are we worshiping her? But anyway, we are here to talk about one of the major things that she is, which is a handmaiden to Persephone.
Yes. This one gets slept on a lot.
And I don't know why, because just Persephone and Hekate together to me is like my favorite thing in the world. Like, of course, Persephone has a handmaiden. And of
Like,
course it's Hekate. Like, why wouldn't it be?
yeah, like overall, like the whole story like makes sense of like why the associations are there, like why. And like probably second favorite associations rather than just Hades and Persephone. But it's this connection that they share to one another, specifically Hecate as a handmaiden and as a servant and a guide of Persephone, that really goes under the radar because I everybody's fluffing up Hecate's robes that she's associated with witchcraft. And we have this. This is so much cooler. She's literally the handmaiden for the queen of the underworld.
Yeah, and so we're looking at her epithet today, which is propolis, which is
Mm-hmm.
a guide, someone who is guiding in some sort of way. And not only is she a handmaiden to Persephone, but she also guides the restless dead, right? Like we talk about Deipnon here a lot. This is why we celebrate Deipnons to appease Hecate, so the
Mm-hmm.
restless dead don't come marching on my house. And she's a guide in more ways than one. Like you could even say the associations with the crossroads. Like there's just so much
100%.
about Hecate of her being more of a guide than she is anything to do with a mother of witches, which we talk about in extra members. So it's like
Yeah,
she's more of like guidance, I would say.
100%. So you want to just dive on into basically kind of the earliest attribution of a guide in, you know, the good old fashioned hymn to Demeter.
Yes, where do you want to start with that?
I don't know, spark note it.
Go ahead.
All right. So within the story, we all know Persephone's screaming on her way down
Hmm.
to the underworld, and Hecate is really the only one who hears it. She goes, she helps Demeter, she calls out Helios, she calls out everybody, and it's just like, I'm tired of all of this. I heard a girl scream, what's going on? What's the 411? And is really there alongside of Hermes, who you could kind of say is like a servant for Hades, like
I
is
like to
kind of his right hand.
Yes, I always think of that. And like when you see artwork of Persephone going back and forth into the underworld, we have art of Hermes actually delivering her to Demeter.
Yes.
So yeah, it's weird. Like I don't know what he would be, but he's kind of like the Hades equivalent, I feel like.
Yeah, like his
Yeah.
right hand if Hecate is her right hand. So
Yes.
she's there, that's why she has torches. She's literally guiding Demeter to her daughter. She is guiding like the whole meetup on the Persephone jar and the Kylix that it is, or the crater, I'm sorry.
I have
And
it. Hold on. It's right here.
Here she is.
This is it. This is the candle from Sticks and Bones. Look, and specifically, this is the Propolis candle because
She'd be guided.
Hekate is the guy. This is the new candle that's coming out today in a smaller version. But there's her torches, and there's Hermes right over here.
And there's Persephone right underneath her.
Gotcha.
I mean, the big three. But it's really interesting because right then and there, like she's already helping Demeter. She is, in communication with all of these other gods because remember, she has ties to every single domain, every single realm at this time. So she really is kind of everything, kind of like how we've had that conversation with Aphrodite before of she kind of belongs to so many different things that she's kind of just her own entity that the
Yes.
gods are just like, you go ahead and do what you want.
Yeah, Aphrodite is just wild in that way. But I also kind of associate Hekate the same way, but also like not as much. You know what I mean? Like,
A
does
hundred
that make
percent
sense?
it does. They're weirdly similar, but I 100% see your point with Aphrodite because she is a massive figure in ancient Greco-Roman religion and practice and mythology and everything. And but she also has kind of like dual citizenship
Yeah.
within Greece and Cyprus. But Hecate, like, yeah, sure, the only dual citizenship she has is like Eleusis and then mainly Turkey. Like,
Right.
she's not really ancient Greek, like
No,
Greece.
and Aphrodite also is part of the Olympians in a sense. Like she's part of like kind like she's
She
just as
can be,
big as
yeah.
them and sometimes is depending on like, she's just whatever.
Family trait, yeah, yeah.
Whatever. However you look at her, like I don't associate her as like part of like the big gods, but like she is up there. Like Hecate to me is not. Like Hecate to me is this niche goddess that I venerate and worship for a specific thing. But I know that's such a wild statement to say in modern day because a lot of people venerate her, which is great. I love Hecate, but it's like we've fallen off track of who she actually is. And it's like, I'm not going to Hecate to do a protection spell because that's not what it's for. That's not what she's for. That's not what she does.
Correct.
I go to Hecate because like I celebrate
Guide,
Dawn and
guidance, protection, in
needing
direct
help,
sense.
guidance, like asking for guidance. I really capitalize off of the goddess of the crossroads aspect. Like I always, that's why I like candles to represent torches. So, um, but she's more niche to me. Like if I was talking to someone that knew a lot about ancient Greek religion and practiced it, I wouldn't expect them to be worshiping Hecate.
No.
Without like unless they're doing it in regards to Eleusis and they're like celebrating Eleusis and like we're mentioning Hecate, but most people that actually practice ancient Greek religion, they're Hecate is not part of their like big households offering,
No. And
you know?
and even with like mystery cult of Eleusis, and there's another one. I think it's the mysteries at Miletus, I think. Um, those are really the only two like cults to her. And then you of course have like other sites in Turkey, but again, mystery cults are supplemental. Like
Yes.
it's not your baseline that everybody's doing. Everybody's going out there and leaving their offerings for Zeus and Athena and all that kind of stuff. But like only every so often or twice a year are people going to Eleusis for Persephone, Demeter, and like a sliver of Hecate. Like it's she's not front and center. She's not Zeus.
No, she's niche. She's a niche aspect. And I will let you guys know, just like in an own personal why I go to Hecate is because I am someone that is a business owner. So like I like to do the Hecate Hermes dual effect where it's like I go to
Mhm.
Hecate for guidance and Hermes is obviously the god of merchants. So it's like, and guess what? They're both chthonic gods. So I like to go to them for when I need guidance and
Mhm.
she can help guide me to the right path. And Hermes is really good for business. So, but you have to know these things. And I'm using an epithet of her, right? It's not just Hecate.
I mean, and Hermes is a guide himself. So
100%. So I'm going to two guys because let me tell you something. If it's something about me, is I need help. Get the torches.
get the torches and a candle. Like, girl needs help.
But I'm going to Athena in a different way as a guide for more strategy, right? For more
Yes.
logic. So it's like, yes, Hecate is a guide, but we also have others in ancient Greek religion that you can go to for guidance on specific things or information about specific things, or if you need to be taught something. So it's like Athena's more strategy, right? Like,
Persephone guidance in the sense of she's freaking rules a whole realm. Hera ruling over, all of the gods and goddesses and marriage, like guidance there. And I would say it's more, you need help with something. It's not like, as we've always said with, episodes about ancient Greco-Roman religion and everything, they're not coming down to teach you anything. Like, you are simply saying,
No.
hey, I really need help, with Hekate, for example. I would like some protection for Depnon, and I'm at this transitional period, a crossroads, if you will. I'm about to get married. Is this the right aspect, or do I follow my heart in this direction? Like, you could go so many different directions that way.
Yeah, you're looking for an answer. Like
Yeah.
it's why you would pray to gods to begin with, is because you're like, for Athena, she's more logical. So for me,
Mm-hmm.
I can get very hot-headed pretty quickly. Like I get in my head a lot, which most people do.
Yeah.
So I go to her and ask, can you help me with clear thinking? And I need to just like push this away, and I need to find the correct answer and
Yeah.
not react so much with emotion, right? And it's a more modern way of looking at Athena,
I mean, absolutely.
but that's the kind of guidance. So like you have to know this by looking at the myths, their epithets, understanding what they rule over, because there's so many different guides, right? And then Hermes is business. So it's like, hey,
Yeah. And
here's
then
the
you
money.
also like there's so many different things. Like, oh my God. Like, anybody could have a guide aspect. It's just like, over what?
You can argue it for a lot of the gods, right? But it's because we are very versatile in understanding the myths and understanding some of their prayers and what they rule over, that you could. That's why
Like,
we know these things.
I would say the Nike, like Nike herself as the goddess, she is a guide because she is announcing and guiding in victory.
Girl, why do you think I have her behind me?
I know she's up on top right here. Like,
Are you kidding me?
I'll
This is
bring her
how
down.
this is the way that we get things done out here. Like, you know what I mean? This is who come to us if you need to know who you need to go to for things, honestly, because the girls, we have it figured out over here. It's like I'm going to Athena for strategy, Hermes for merchants, right? Hecate because I don't know what road to take, crossroad to take when I'm stuck, and Nike because I'm trying to get to the finish line.
Yeah, no.
Announce me victorious.
Announce me. Here I am.
So yeah, you can ask for help in those ways, but they're not like here teaching me. It's like something might dawn on me where it's like, oh yeah, that might be the answer.
100%. Now,
Divine inspiration.
mm,
Hmm.
now with that, there has been, titles or titularies, I should say, that is like
I'm sorry. I think I'm just 5 and like it's Friday and I'm tired.
let me see it. Let me see if I say this word.
I just wasn't expecting it today.
How do you feel if I say this region? Lake Titicaca.
Like, I normally am so composed. Athena, I need help. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
So, like, there are titles and titularies where
Works that way.
where some will say, well, doesn't Hekate rule over X, Y, or Z? Isn't she a queen of necromancy? Isn't she a
No.
queen of like the restless dead? So, would you say that she is a queen or like a guide?
Guide. I'll tell you why. When you're
Tell me.
doing
Tell me why.
necromancy, which we're gonna be talking all about it in extra members content, and you are asking a god's assistance in necromancy, right? Like you usually got to use certain names, do certain things. They're guiding souls up. They're guiding shades up. She's not like queen of restless dead. She's guiding them through. So
Mm-hmm.
I think my opinion changed on this a lot the more that we read about Hecate, the more we discover about Hecate, because there's not much, like I said. Um, I probably last year would have argued she's a queen, but it's really Persephone that's like queen over the dead. Um,
Yeah,
and a queen can't be serving another queen. There can't be two.
that's very interesting.
I mean, in royalty, like Persephone, if you're looking at it through a royal lens, she would never have another queen serving her. And who would agree to that if they're a queen in their own right?
You'd be a prisoner. Like, that's the only answer, and that's
Yeah.
that's not working out. That tells you that your land area is not doing hot.
Yeah, you got taken over. You know what I mean?
You're a
Like
hostage.
you're a prisoner of war. So that's why she just like can't be because when we look at it in terms of Aphrodite, Aphrodite doesn't serve anybody. She's not like
No,
guiding anybody. That's why
she
she's
certainly doesn't serve men.
she doesn't serve. And that's why we love her. She serves in a different way, you know? She's serving it up in a different
Yeah,
way, which we respect. Like, go
just
girl.
serves.
She's just yeah, she's serving, but like not serving.
Yes.
So yeah, I don't know. Is there anything you wanted to add to that? I'm just like laughing in my own head. Like she's serving, but not serving.
There's no serving. No, I think it's really interesting because of how old kind of Hecate is and like the
I
generations of
know.
everything that it she is kind of, this wise guide for Persephone who is, she was going through that transition of screaming into the underworld as a marriage ceremony. But, I think that's the purpose that she, really serves. And I think it really fits with the time periods, especially like when we look at marriage traditions or other rites and rituals where the older community members, older females will offer, their insights into everything.
Yeah, I mean, I like to consider myself a guide, and I feel like I'm really at crone status at this point in my life because I just feel like I've been through everything. And it's like when you're coming to me for readings, right? Like I'm a guide, I'm guiding people. So it's not so weird to think about that, like there would be someone older or of older, an older goddess, if you will.
Yeah, like we don't know
Um,
how old she is. Like she's not like decrepit.
I feel like and there's no truth behind this. I feel like she's pretty damn old. I don't know why. I feel like one day we're just going to discover something and it's going to just
I mean, there are older antecedents, but like, yeah, the names are where things get like very, very tricky.
But then, like, I still see Hekate on her own in a sense. And maybe that's because she is just a guide to the restless dead and she's just wandering around. And, like, she's not really bound. And maybe because she's a virgin goddess, too. She's not bound to a husband. She's,
I think so. I think, we see her on her own in artwork when it comes to like the wars and everything. Like she is actively fighting, with and amongst other gods and goddesses. But then she goes out for war, comes back with spoils of war, and like nobody hears from her again. Like she's like, all right, I'm retiring on a high note. And she just disappears into the misty sky. And it's
she's,
perfect because that's what she wants.
she's
But
iconic in that sense. And she's who I strive to be.
like she literally is just like, I'm here, I'm fighting for the good fight, and I'm gonna be back in Turkey. Like you can find me there.
Yeah, she's also a Titan. So it's like, she's just kind of like floating around on her own in my eyes. Like, she just,
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know if I would consider her a Titan because she's born of Titans, but like where are the generation
I
cut
don't
off?
know. I don't know. I don't know. And then there's like this whole, no, that's another story for another day.
It's not as cut and dry as like, are you Gen Gen X? Or are you a millennial? Like we don't got
I
age.
don't know. I don't know, but it is kind of important when you're looking at mythology because of the Great War. So it's like,
Yeah, and then it's like, are you pre-Great War and are you pre-Troy? Like, where do you
I don't know.
fall in the war lineup?
She's she's pretty confusing, but I think that's why I like her so much is because, and I think that's why people have a fascination with her. And I think it's in the wrong sense today. But for me, it's because she kind of just like disappears and like is this figure, but also is serving Persephone. And it's like she's very mysterious.
Very mysterious, does her work, does her due diligence for her king and queen. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's really fascinating. I wish that there was more on it, but it is really interesting that like she is a handmaiden to one of the most powerful individuals in Greek mythology.
I mean, I think we argued
She is.
she is. And even in the extra members content, we were talking about like how would we pair up the Olympians like for marriage? We paired Zeus and Persephone as the most powerful couple, father and daughter. But like, you know, but like it's true. It's true. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's the truth.
There's a story where that happens, so it's not too far off.
And if you don't agree with me, your opinions are wrong.
No, but it's so crazy of, you'll see like a lot of things of like, oh, Persephone and Hecate are on the same level. And, as this is
No.
part of religion and, ancient history and everything, it is, Hades and then Persephone, and then Hekate. Like it would go that way in the hierarchy of the underworld.
Yeah, also too, Hekate's part of religion. So like that's another thing where like we worship her. It's part of a religious practice, no matter what lens you're looking at it through.
Mhm.
It's religious observance of a goddess. And
Oh yeah, even for like archaeologists, they have to look into the whole backstory of okay, well, why would this iconography or statuette, why would it have been found in ancient Anatolia, modern day Turkey on the south coast? When, is this site connected to another site and how so? What religious rites, practices, ceremonies, sacrifices would have been done to connect this one piece to everything else in the known Greek world?
yeah, and a lot of people today take her out of the religious context and just view her as her own. But once again, it's not
Can't do
really how
that.
that's working. And if you are viewing her as her own, just know she is part of religion. So we can't take religious figures out of their religious beliefs to make them something that we want them to be. And even if it's like, the we have the debate over magic and witchcraft all the time, which is part of the extra members content that we discuss, and we went through all of this. I just want to say, if you're interested in Hecate, it's part of religion. So like we
Well, I
have to
mean,
respect that. There's certain rites when you're doing certain things. Depnon is a certain thing. So it's like, just do your research, make sure you know what you're doing.
it would be like taking Jesus completely out of context, or Mary
Yes.
completely out of
Mhm.
context, or even Moses completely out of context, because Moses is, I think, the only prophet who is acknowledged by Judaism, Catholicism, and Islam as like he's known in all of the sacred books and texts. So like
Yeah.
if you take him out, you can't do that. So why would you do that to Zeus, to Hecate, to Odin, to Isis, to
I don't
any
know.
god? They belong to something so much larger. And at that time in history, religion and everyday life kind of just goes hand in hand with everything. So can't separate it without there being like a whole knot to untangle.
No, it's true. And like even what you said about like Mary, Mary's looked at through many different lenses based on what part of Christianity or even Judaism, I would argue, you're
Oh,
looking
yeah.
at. Like there's La Madonna, which is the Italian Mary. Like how are the Italians looking at Mary? So it's like, yes, they're part of this bigger religion. Like Hecate is part of religion, but like, yeah, sure, we see her at Lagina and like but what lens are you looking at her through? You know what I mean? Why are we celebrating Depnon? Why are we going to Hecate? What are we asking her for? What does she actually rule over that's not modern neo-pagan movements that have been appropriating her religion and her iconography and making her into focaccia, Hecate. So that's why we're doing all
Yeah.
this extra member stuff to explore this content and dive deeper and go even further into it because it's just kind of crazy and ridiculous. Like you are appropriating someone's history, culture, and religion, and I think we just have to call it for what it is.
Yeah, I think just in my mind, like depending on how, like you brought up, what lens are you looking at it through? So like what theoretical approach are you, taking with everything? And it's like once again, these gods and goddesses, religion, and ancient history are so cool on their own. Why not just look at that? Like
I don't know.
Hecate serving Queen Persephone is so cool, and in my personal opinion, way cooler than the modern neo-pagan goobles and gobbles focaccia bread that is being peddled.
Just
But
gonna
maybe
call it
that's just
focaccia.
me.
No, I mean it's so cool. I mean, I see I could do a whole nother episode about Hecate because I have
Yeah,
so much more to say about like my
make
own
Hecate cool
personal
again.
my own personal worship with her. Like I leave her offerings in dirt. You know what I mean? Like there's just so many cool things about it and it's like it's amazing on its own. So as she's a guide, we hope that we're guiding you into looking deeper at the education, looking deeper at why we're doing things, why is this done, the history, the archaeology, the religion. Don't just take a 6-second TikTok video for face value. Like if people are not talking about it historically, then
Run.
oh, I mean, I was gonna say it's we need to be educating
I'll
and
say it.
understanding why. Yeah.
I'll say I don't give a shit. But like I want to have the deeper conversations with, Chelsea of with everything of like, well, why is Elpenor pictured here? And is this image actually Hecate on this relief? Or is it Artemis? Or is it plot twist Selene?
Yeah,
I
like who
want
could
these,
say?
I want these bigger, deeper stuff. I mean, there's a whole layout in the archaeology magazine on her that they used imagery that I personally don't think is accurate to being her. I
I
think it's
mean,
an abomination.
it is confusing. That's why it's like it is hard. I mean, studying ancient Greek religion and the gods is not easy. A lot of people think we just look at one book. It's like you have to look at everything in a context. There's multiple books. That's why we're doing books on extra members content. That's why last month we did Hades and his symbology and iconography, and we got an oil tycoon looking statue that we tore
Shadow
apart
Daddy.
because we were like, what the heck is this? How did we get so far away? We talked about his sigil and how like is that even real? I don't know. So it's so much deeper than like what you're seeing on Google, Wikipedia, what's trending online. It's not usually correct.
Oh no, they do you dirty each and every
They
time.
do me dirty. Theoid did me dirty the other day.
Yeah, they would.
Dirty. But I know it always does me dirty. So anyway,
Anything else you want to add to the guide, the handmaiden, and more for Hekate part?
Stan, Hecate, and Persephone for clear skin.
Yeah, make Hekate cool again. Make
You guys can go to her for help and guidance. Like, I don't know why no one is talking about this. Everyone's like, she does shadow work. No.
I don't understand that. That is
She
completely.
could be guiding you and helping you find the answer to something that you need and pushing you and guiding you in that way, sure.
But
But
let's stick
shadow
to the
work
facts.
doesn't exist in the ancient world. So anyway, this could be a whole nother episode. I'm going to be quiet now.
It could be part 6, shadow work with Hekate. That is, let's.
Bakatcha.
We are, fact girlies here at Sticks and Bones, so let's stick to the facts and not give preposterous, information online. But with that being said, let's make Hekate cool again. Let's make, the aspect of her as a handmaiden to the literal queen of the underworld cool again. Like, why is nobody talking about that? I don't know.
We make things cool again here. And you guys that listen to us, we are the ones that know what's cool. We are on top of it all. We know everything here at Sticks and Bones. And you guys know with us, we're part of our own little secret cult where we're like, we're making the cool things happen again. We made
Yeah.
Depnon cool
Yeah, no, then Depnon got forgotten about.
because we stopped talking about it.
I know.
How many more episodes of Hekate can we do? Here's another one.
Here's another one. I'm so tired. Here we
You guys
go.
make Depnon cool. Like so many people message me and they're like, I'm celebrating Depnon today. And I'm like, oh my God, same. So I love that we can talk about these ancient things and people are practicing them and then letting us know, like, hey, I tried this. We're gonna talk about Aphrodite and like the Adonia during midsummer. So like buckle up because we're celebrating cool things here.
Oh, and we're also tackling with Aphrodite and Persephone. Do they hate each other? Because I've seen enough. I'm tired. I'm so tired. So tired of the
We
misinformation.
had to take a detour out of Greek mythology to come back to be like, hmm,
What in the hell?
yeah, I didn't know this was happening.
But with that being said, don't forget to join us over on the Extra Members Mystery Calls, where you will get a little insight into the Greco Roman world of necromancy from our buddy, Dr. Ogden. We will be looking at Hera, looking at her, case. Did she, have
Yes.
a claim to this? Let's hear
Yes.
her out.
Case closed.
I see my time. And of course, we are also looking at more images of Hekate, because we've seen enough and we're back once again.
You've
So
summoned
join
us. We've answered.
And now you have to hear all of our answers because we are not descending back into the underworld until our job is done. So with that being said, we will see you guys over on the Mystery Cult. And yeah, until next time, bye.